she invited her ex to live with us to save money. Before we begin, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. It really helps this channel grow. And trust me, you'll want to hear this one through to the very end. When she first said the words, I thought she was joking. Can we let Liam stay with us for a while? I remember the way she looked at me when she asked. Like it was no big deal. Like she was asking if we could rearrange the furniture or switch internet providers. Like she wasn't about to swing a wrecking ball through the middle of our relationship. I stared at her for a second longer than I should have, trying to decide if this was a test, a prank, or something else entirely. He lost his place, she said. His lease ended, and he didn't find anything in time. It's just a few weeks. Just until he gets back on his feet. Liam. The ex-boyfriend with whom she'd once shared 3 years, 2 cities, and more red flags than a Soviet parade. The guy who, by her own admission, had lied, cheated, and drained her bank account twice before ghosting her for some enlightenment retreat in Arizona. That Liam. And now she wanted to let him sleep under our roof. I said nothing at first. Not because I agreed, but because I didn't trust myself to say what I really thought. So I nodded. Slowly. And she smiled like I was the most understanding man alive. No. I was just the dumbest one in the room that day. He moved in the following weekend. 1 duffel bag, a broken laptop, and a cocky grin. Thanks for this, bro, really. I owe you guys. I shook his hand. His grip was strong. Confident. Like he wasn't the one who needed a couch and a miracle to stay afloat. We gave him the guest room. The smallest one in the apartment. Bare walls. No TV. Just a mattress and an old desk I hadn't gotten around to tossing out. He said it was perfect. That first week, everything felt oddly still. Polite. Civil. He cooked dinner once. Bought toilet paper. Washed his own dishes. Even offered to Venmo us for groceries. I should have known that was the high point. Week 2 was when the shit began. I came home from work late one night. She and I had talked earlier. She said she might order takeout, but when I walked in, the apartment smelled like garlic and basil. There were 2 plates on the dining table. Empty wine glasses. A pan still warm on the stove. I heard laughter from the living room. They were on the couch. Sitting close. Not touching. But laughing. Hard. She was leaned into him, one hand over her mouth, trying to catch her breath. He slapped his knee and said something about the France trip. They didn't see me at first. I stood there, backpack still slung over my shoulder, keys in hand, just watching. Then she looked up. Hey, you're back early. No apology. No explanation. Just that same bright smile, like everything was fine. I walked past them, mumbled something about emails, and locked myself in the bedroom. I didn't sleep well that night. The second moment was a few days later. I'd come home early again. On purpose this time. When I stepped into the kitchen, I saw them standing next to each other at the stove. She was stirring a sauce, and he was holding a spoon. Open your mouth, she said, in that playful, mock-bossy tone she always used when she was teasing me. He grinned, leaned in. She fed him straight from the pan. What do you think? Too much salt? He exaggerated a dramatic chef's kiss. I stood there in the hallway, heartbeat picking up. She looked over, caught my eye. Oh! Hey babe, didn't hear you come in. I nodded. Walked to the fridge. Grabbed a beer I didn't want. Opened it just to have something to do with my hands. We're just making some pasta. Want a plate? I said no. I didn't look back. I spent the rest of the evening in our bedroom, pretending to work. They never checked on me. Third time? Movie night. That used to be our thing. Friday nights. Popcorn. A new release. Her feet in my lap. Light off, voices low. That week, I was slammed with overtime. Friday bled into Saturday. I didn't get home until just after midnight. The lights in the living room were off. The TV was still glowing. They were on the couch. He was sitting upright. She was curled up against him, blanket pulled over her legs, her head resting on his chest. They were both asleep. I stood there for a full minute. I could hear my own breathing louder than the movie dialogue. I wanted to say something. Kick the table. Turn on the light. Wake them the fuck up. But I didn't. I turned, walked to the bathroom, took the longest shower of my life. By the time I came out, the couch was empty. The lights were off. Door closed to the guest room. She was already in our bed, facing away from me, breathing soft and even. I laid down beside her. Didn't touch her. Didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling until the sky outside turned gray. The fourth time, I didn't walk in on anything dramatic. Just a conversation. They were on the balcony, sharing a joint. He was leaning back in the plastic chair we never replaced. She sat on the railing, legs swinging slightly, hoodie zipped up halfway, socks mismatched. That home look I used to think was mine alone to witness. I stayed by the hallway, out of view, just listening. She was telling him about her childhood. Stuff I'd never even heard before. Memories about her first dog, about the one time she ran away for a night when she was 11, about how she used to pretend she had a twin when things got hard at school. And he was quiet, really listening. Then he said, "You know, I miss this version of you." She laughed. Not nervously. Not uncomfortably. Just easily. I did too. The silence after that line said more than the words. I turned around and went for a walk. Didn't even take my phone. Just keys, hoodie, and air. The fifth time wasn't a moment. It was a stretch of days. I'd leave in the morning. She'd barely say goodbye. I'd text her at lunch. She'd respond hours later with a dry one-liner. Evenings, she was either out, asleep early, or in the guest room with the door half open, talking, laughing, or watching something with him. One night, I heard them playing a card game. Uno. I could hear her laughing, calling him a cheater, then a pause where he said something low, and she laughed again, that high, breathy kind of laugh that used to mean intimacy. I wanted to punch a wall. Instead, I took my laptop, went to a 24-hour diner, and worked till sunrise. Nobody texted. The sixth time was the nail. I came home from a weekend work trip. 2 days out of town. Back sore. Eyes dead. Just wanted a warm shower and a familiar face. I walked in around 8 p.m. The apartment was dark except for a few candles in the living room. At first, I thought no one was home. Then I saw the blanket on the couch shift. They were under it. Too close. I don't know if they were sleeping. I didn't care. I dropped my bag by the door, went to the bathroom, stared at myself in the mirror. Something in my face looked off. I couldn't figure out what. My jaw? My eyes? Then it hit me. It was the absence of tension. There was no fear. No anxiety. Just emptiness. The kind of emptiness that comes right before a clean break. That night, I slept on the floor of my friend Jared's apartment. And the next morning, I called the landlord. "Hey, this is Kyle." "Yeah, apartment 3B. "No, nothing's broken. Just wanted to give notice. I'll be moving out by the end of the month." "No, just me. The others will be staying, I think." "No, I haven't told him yet." He asked if I needed a final statement. I said not yet. He said all right. That was it. The next week, I made moves. I cleared out my personal files from the shared desktop, transferred my direct deposits to my new bank account, rerouted mail, took my documents, backup drives, and keepsakes, quietly, over a few days. She didn't notice. Neither did he. Or maybe they did, but didn't care. That Saturday, I packed a single suitcase, left the key on the counter, didn't write a note, didn't text, just walked out, closed the door behind me. felt the click echo in my spine, and didn't look back. The first night in my new place felt like silence had a sound. It wasn't empty. It was clean, like stepping out of someone else's skin. I cooked for myself, watched a movie alone, fell asleep with no voices through the walls, no footsteps in the hallway, no clinking glasses or low laughter. And for the first time in weeks, I slept deep. 3 days passed before she messaged me. Not a call, not an apology, just a text from an unknown number at 11:42 p.m. "Hey, where are you? Are you okay?" I stared at it, didn't reply. The next day, she sent another. "We're out of hot water. Did you forget to pay the bill?" Then another. "The internet's down. Can you check if it's your name on the account?" I read each one like I was watching a dying light bulb flicker. They still hadn't realized they were on their own. No one had ever told them. But silence did. The messages stopped after 4 days. 1 week later, I got a call from our landlord. He sounded tired. "Hey Kyle, listen. I just wanted to check something with you." "Sure," I said. "The rent wasn't paid this month." And I haven't been able to reach anyone." I tried both of them. Phones go to voicemail. "Yeah, that checks out. Are you still planning to cover your part?" "I already moved out, remember?" "Right. Yeah. Just confirming. So they're on the hook now?" "Far as I know." He sighed. "Okay. Well, I'll give them one more notice. But if I don't get anything by the 5th, I'll have to start paperwork." "Do what you need to." "Thanks for the heads up." "No problem." We hung up. I sat on the edge of my new bed, looked out at the clean white wall of my bedroom. No photos. No chaos. Just space. I felt nothing. And that was everything. A few days later, I bumped into Jared, the friend who'd let me crash at his place during the move. He grinned as we sat down for coffee. "So, she texted me." I raised an eyebrow. Said she was worried about you and just wanted to make sure you were alive. I nodded. Then she asked if I knew where you were. I laughed. "And?" "I told her you were probably better off than ever." He sipped his drink, then told me something else. Apparently the guy, Liam, skipped town. Disappeared. No goodbye. No help with rent. Just vanished. Took his duffel bag and bounced. She didn't see that coming, huh? Nope. Guess her temporary roommate didn't want to stick around when the heat and internet got cut. Shame. We both smiled. But mine held more weight. That night, she texted again. This time from a different number. "Can we talk?" I ignored it. The next day, another one. "Please, just 5 minutes." I didn't respond. The day after that, I got an email. Subject line, "Please read." The body was 2 paragraphs long. She said she missed me. That she didn't realize how much I did. That things got out of control. That she thought I'd understand. That I'd always come back. She ended with, "I made a mistake. A big one. And I've already paid for it. Can we meet? I just want to talk." No pressure. I closed the email. Didn't delete it. Didn't answer. Just closed it. And went back to work. 2 weeks later, I saw her in person. It wasn't planned. I was walking downtown, headed to a late dinner with a friend. She was on the opposite sidewalk. Alone. Wearing a hoodie, hair tied back, eyes locked to her phone. She looked up just as I noticed her. We made eye contact. She froze. I didn't. I kept walking. No smile. No wave. No hate. Just nothing. She turned her head as I passed, watching me go. But I didn't look back. She didn't follow. That was the most honest moment we'd ever shared. I met Claire 8 months later. It wasn't dramatic. No sparks. No slow motion. No violins. She worked in the same building, 2 floors above me. I held the elevator for her once. She complimented my shoes. 3 weeks later, we ended up in the same lunch spot. Then again. Then again. One day she sat next to me without asking. "You always look like you're thinking about 5 things at once," she said. I smiled. "You're not wrong." She didn't ask for my past. And when I told her, she didn't flinch. Just nodded once and said, "Sometimes the people who love us the loudest are the ones who never really listened." We started dating in the slowest way possible. No labels. No rush. Just time. And space. And safety. She never made me feel like I had to prove anything. She didn't walk through my wounds like they were a shortcut to connection. She respected them. One night, a full year after we started seeing each other, she said something that stayed with me. "You're allowed to have your own air. You don't owe anyone your oxygen." I kissed her after that. And I haven't stopped. We moved in together during the spring. It wasn't complicated. We split chores, shared playlists, built furniture badly. Her laugh filled every corner of the apartment. It never sounded like someone else's echo. 6 months after that, I proposed. Quietly. At home. No flash mob. No Instagram filter. Just a ring, a mug of coffee, and me asking her to stay a little longer. She said yes before I even finished the sentence. Our daughter was born the following year. Her name is June. She likes blueberries and hates socks. She claps every time she hears music. And sometimes she laughs in her sleep. She calls me "duh" for now. It's the best word in the world. One Saturday, we were walking through the park. Claire was holding June on her hip, pointing at ducks. I was a few steps behind, carrying snacks, watching them like I was seeing a dream I never thought I deserved. That's when I saw her. My ex. She was sitting alone on a bench near the fountain. Phone in one hand. Coffee in the other. Her eyes were tired. Her clothes didn't fit quite right. She looked up. And froze. Her gaze moved from Claire to June, then to me. Our eyes met. I didn't stop walking. Didn't change expression. Didn't offer a nod. Just kept moving forward. She turned her head slightly as I passed. I could feel the weight of her stare. Like she was seeing the exact version of me she never thought would exist. Happy. Peaceful. Untouchable. I didn't feel pride. Or revenge. I just felt complete. Claire looked over her shoulder. "Everything okay?" I smiled. "Perfect." She reached for my hand. I took it. And the 3 of us walked past the bench, where the ghost of my past sat still, watching the life she'd burned walk by without flinching.